It's important that the whole democratic process is well implemented, and this was the first year, and it was very important that we set the right benchmarks, because whatever foundation we lay today will become the benchmark for all the future workings of RATA. So, my friends, thank you very much, Deepak Bhai, from all of us at the committee.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
and I want to thank everybody for actually having re-elected me as the president. Our RATA constitution permits a person to be a president only for twice. You can't continue to be a president beyond more than 2 years. This is the last year that I would ever hold a office bearer's position in the association. Honestly, it's a very exciting phase, because 10 years, 12 years ago, when we literally got out to start RATA, we never thought that we would take it to these heights. Though we always dreamt about it, but it seemed like literally an impossible dream at that time. But we've actually made the association what it is. But it's never been an easy thing. And I want to take you today to two parts of this association. There are lots of people who have joined us today, 51 people who have virtually joined us as of now. I want to actually share with you a little bit of the RATA journey. How did it happen? It's not going to be long, but I'll quickly highlight on a few things on what is the RATA journey all about? How did this whole thing happen? And the other important thing is, as a committee together for the next 2 years, what is expected out of us? Where are we going? So I'm going to share my screen and take you through the entire. Yeah, I just need a confirmation that you can see the screen. Somebody
Yes,
can
Ajit.
unmute and
It's visible.
Okay.
It's visible. Go
Yes,
ahead.
it's visible now.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
we can see you.
Thank you very much, guys. So I'll just take you through the entire thing. So there are two things that I wanted to talk to you about. One is the RATA journey till today, and what is the plan we have for the next 2 years, 2020 and 2022. This plan is what I believe is what we should look at. It is not like sacrosanct that this is all what we will follow. It's open for discussions. We can always relook at the plan, discuss it again at the national committee, and we can improvise on the whole thing. So, but I'd like to share it here as a vision document as to what is expected from all of us. So, in the journey, 72-year-old idea, which was executed by some really good industry veterans. For people who don't know, this association had people like people from Larsen and Toubro and lots of other big, large companies who actually decided to build this, who decided to form this association. And some of the big industry veterans who actually formed this. Uh, and then it got revived by some very enthusiastic and passionate members. And today, over the next 2 years, what we are literally doing is institutionalizing the whole process or the whole association. And I'll take you through each of them, and all of us have a role, not just into the history, but on the basis of the history as to what is expected from us over the next 2 years. So the idea, as I told you, I mean, the association is as old as our country. It's amazing, right? At the time of the freedom, there were a bunch of people, entrepreneurs, who actually said that air conditioned refrigeration ka industry hona chahiye. So they had the vision then, and that's how old our association is. And they just didn't form a arbitrary body; they formed a company. So it was built with a larger vision. Like how Akash said, this is a limited company. We are under the registrar of companies. All the elected office bearers are directors at the national level, are at the association, making us completely accountable for our actions to the ROC. So we are completely accountable by law as to what we do in the association, both in terms of its finances and its operations. And what is this idea all about? What are we doing at the association? Primarily, we are at three important goals. And this should be your guiding principle whenever you do anything at this association. We are here to help entrepreneurs in the HVACR trade to grow their business. We're here to ensure that the trade is attractive to encourage new entrepreneurs or the next generation of entrepreneurs to join our businesses. And this has a direct impact from each of us. We run family businesses and we have second generations coming in, and we also need to bring in new talent into our industry. And the third and the most important thing, we need to be the voice of the trade and be part of the government policy making for the HVACR trade. I'm defining it in a very specific way. It is not just about making relationships and knowing a few government officials. We have to be involved in the policy making which affects our HVACR trade. That's a long way to go, but that is the relationship that we should have. If the central ministry, if the central government, if the GST council, if they plan to come up with something, they will by default should say that, hey, let's talk to RATA. We need to figure it out and take the industry's opinion, which is what makes us the voice of trade. I'm moving from an idea to an execution. The idea of RATA continued through the years, and we have built a strong financial base to help sustain its growth. We have a good reserve and an office which is centrally located in Bombay. We all appreciate the Taj Mahal, but the Taj Mahal has been standing for so many years is because of the strong foundations. So we know who spent the money, but the guys who actually built that foundation has a huge role to play. It is because of the hard work they did that we are able to build this huge association, aspire to be national, aspire to be the voice of the nation. So a lot of hard work has gone to our earlier presidents and office bearers. I'd like to personally thank Mr. Wallace-ji, Mr. Gosavi-ji, Mr. Verma-ji, Mr. Jasbir Singh-ji, Mr. Gurnani-ji, Mr. Kirish Shah-ji, Mr. Ulas-ji, and many others who have worked hard to give us the strong foundation to help build this large organization. Thank you, Deepak, for always being there for RATA. He was also very active in this whole early stage of actually getting RATA up and going and even setting up the whole vision that we had. So we owe it to all of them who actually made sure that we had enough resources, we have office and everything to get started. We've all been in business, it's great to have an idea, but the real fuel for any business is the cash flow and is the money. Our predecessors made it very, very easy by creating that strong foundation, and we will always stay indebted to them. And I want to remember them and thank all of them who've actually made that effort. Any large organization or any organization as old as 72 years old goes through its highs and lows. It's very natural. It's in an enterprise cycle. Everything can't just be going up. It goes up, it comes down. And at the association, we had the same kind of a problem. We had to revive it at one point, even though our finances were in place, but the activity around it started coming down. So at RATA, we wanted to revive the process, and one of the key players who actually started the revival process is Mr. Paras Siroya, and he started initiating this idea. And it's incredible that right from an idea till today, from the revival process till today, he plays a very, very active role. So thank you, Parasji. It's fantastic. The other important thing on this revival is being a very localized committee. We set the vision saying that you cannot remain localized. If you really want to make an impact in the trade, then you've got to be truly national in nature. That is very, very important. Being national in nature was very important. And one of the big things that happened was this existing committee in Mumbai, like how Mir said, the existing Mumbai committee has actually become the regional committee. They were actually the national committee. So they've had a very, very important role to play in bringing over this change. So they played the last committee has played a historic role in actually transforming the association into a new constitution. And it's important to understand what they did. So over the last 3 years, our membership has grown across India. From a 100-member association, I clearly remember we just had almost just 100 members when I became active about 10 years ago with the association, or when the revival plan was put together. Today, we are actually swearing in 100 committee members across India. That's a transformation that we've had over 10 years. And that's a geometrical kind of impact that we've had. And in making this happen, I'm thankful to Amod and Nasser, who got VRF Mela going. So people who have witnessed the VRF Mela, that was the first idea that came in. We were like we had a concept. We said we will make a techno-commercial program, and we will go and we will solve the problems of small dealers who are struggling because of the online. And we will tell them that, listen, there is a new industry which is growing at a phenomenal pace, and this is the way you should look at bringing, getting into this, going up the value chain of the business and becoming part of the VRF business. And Amod and Nasir actually helped us to put this together. And it was like a little nice circus group. We used to literally go from city to city, put up the show, engage with new members and talk to them about Rata and become members. And that's how we have a lot of new committees who came in. RN Joshi, Harshal Padya and Harshal Ganjawala, Jaspreet ji, and the generation next is pretty much responsible for Rata Day. So Generation Next is a group which was created in Bombay, which I think regional committees across India should try to replicate, of youngsters, people who are still studying, maybe even our own children who aspire to get into the business. There was a group which was called as the Generation Next, and we started introducing them in a real nice, fun way of actually what the association and what the trade is all about. And this was a team that actually started managing Rata Day. Rata Day was started over the last 3 years, primarily to take pride in what you do. So we said 3rd February is the foundation day of the association. We will convert it into a Rata Day, but we call it the Air Conditioning and Refrigeration Day of India. The concept behind that is, if you take pride in what you do, you will do a good job out of it. And if there's a sense of pride, it's much easier to bring in new entrepreneurs or the next generation into the business. So they played a very important role. Harshal Ganjawala, Akash and Parth got the cold chain Vyapar going, primarily an event which was focused around refrigeration. Pritesh, who is the current secretary in Bombay, has done a fabulous job. He has done most of the work for us with the government relationships with the state government. And in fact, our relationship with the GST commissioners was all started by Pritesh. He became a member of the Federation of Association of Maharashtra. He went on to become the secretary. He canvassed, he built those relationships, and he institutionalized those relationships with the association. So I think he's done a fabulous job, and I think his expertise should be taken of his journey when each of you committees will have people who are in charge of the government liaison work. So Harshal Padya, thank you very much, Harshal. He knew nothing about IT, but had the super idea of the domain expertise and the willingness to work hard and learn. He is the man who actually put together this entire Rata website. We'll talk a little more about it, but that whole website, online portal, the purpose, how it is evolving and what it is happening, Harshal Padya is the man who actually got it doing. Shubha stayed focused only on the membership. That's all what she was doing, and she just made sure the memberships and the renewals happened, and that's where the cash flow came in. And we were very clear that our association in one day should run only on membership money. Anything else that we get, sponsorships, everything, we should be able to move it into our reserves, while the membership should run our expenses. And Shubha was very focused on that, and that's seen some great results. Pankaj, he's the one who managed all our delegations. We take various delegations under the, when we go for international delegations, international exhibitions to Germany and US or wherever we go for, we go as an Indian contingent. And Pankaj has been dealing it. We don't even go as Rata. Though everything is organized by us, but we said that, listen, we will go under the Indian flag. And that's the power of Indian entrepreneurship. And he's been doing that fantastic job. And I want to thank Jaspreet ji. He's the current vice president for Mumbai. He managed the back office completely for us. So he's the person who actually took care of everything, running the office from a day-to-day time, because we told that we need somebody to hold fort while we are out trying to expand and go into new territories. And he made sure everything was well taken care of. Thank you, Akash, for keeping the compliance in order. You have seen what he did today. He has kept it very transparent, and he's always made it, made sure our compliances, we never defaulted on any compliances, we never missed any dates or anything of that sort, and that entire credit goes to Akash. Two stalwarts of our industry. I think thanking is just being very small, but Mihir and Paras has had a huge role, a phenomenal role, right from the revival plan which we put on day one. They've all been part of the team who's actually helped Rata grow across the country, and that's one of the biggest contributions that will ever go into our association, of both these gentlemen actually making very selfless efforts and getting this going. We've had a back office team, Ms. Reenal. She's been with us for 8 years, and she moved out. So here, this is something that I really want to share. I've been in business for a long time, and I once asked a very good consultant, a very well-known HR consultant, as to how do I handle this problem of people leaving me and going. Okay, it's a very big problem. I train people, people leave me and go. And he had a very interesting perspective. He asked me a question: how many years do people work with you before they leave? So I said, see, they've been with me for 5, 6, 7 years, but then they leave virtually, and then they leave and they go. Then he asked me a question: where do these people, after leaving you, do they go? So I said, they've all gone to better companies, large multinational companies. And he turned around my perspective on that. And he said that, listen, you're a good company. You're generating talent. Don't get demotivated by this with people. People have a journey to go. You are doing something right, which is why you are able to actually give talent to much larger and better organizations to you. So nothing's wrong. Everything is good at you. And that's always been my motivation factor. And in Rata, we've just been able to demonstrate that. Reenal's been with us for 8 years, and she's moved to a multinational company. And she was fresh talent. And we groomed that talent in-house. All of us put together at the Mumbai committee, groomed that talent, and she moved ahead. So it's a great feather on our cap that we've actually been able to generate good people from. Now we have equally two very talented people, Savita and Vishaka, who have been with us. They've been doing a fantastic job, fabulous. They have a huge task on their hand with 13 committees across India. To most people who might not be aware, most of us in this committee have not even personally met Vishaka, because Vishaka joined us during the COVID pandemic times. She joined us in the month of April end or something, and she has not personally met majority of them. She's only met me once, right from her interview to her application form to her induction. I only met her once to give her the laptop. That's all what I've done. And from there, she's completely in charge. She's inducted. I guess we made a change. So the COVID or the pandemic doesn't come in our way of doing work. We still fight that battle. So these are the two wonderful people we have here. And now coming to our big plan as to institutionalizing the whole process. From an idea that was executed, which had its own hiccups, we revived it, but now we need to institutionalize it. The objective of this term is to institutionalize Rata so it's no more dependent on a core team, but the trade at large. Never should ever in our history, there should be a revival process. And that is what we need to do over the next 2 years. We need to do things that will institutionalize our association. It is no more dependent. It is here to stay. It is there to grow. And in that process, some of our early adopters who helped us get on this track. Thank you, Urveji. Thank you, Nilesh. Thank you, Paras, Sureji, Shrikant, Kalyan Raman, Subbu, Mulinder, Ajay, Sayani, for being part of the early adopters of our journey of Rata going national. And I also want to thank all the new committees and those 100 people who have actually joined us to become part of this huge journey of institutionalizing our the whole association. So the institutionalization, what does it mean? So remember one thing, every member in every committee should have a clear role for his expectation from the next 2 years. When I shared about the Mumbai committee, you saw everyone had a very clear role. Each one is doing one thing, you do it right. It's a practice that we have adopted for the past 10 years, and it has worked for us. Very clearly defined each one person what is expected from him, and he just stays focused on that. Most of you committee member, most of the committees have only 5 people, 6 people, 9 people. You can increase it. So what you need to do is over the next 2 years, you need to start something called as an action committee. An action committee is a committee that doesn't have any voting rights or is not part of the main committee. But it is the committee that you bring in new members and you need to actually train them and get them involved so you build the next level of leadership. At the end of these 2 terms, each of us have a responsibility that we have built our leadership term for the next 10 years. That is about 20 years. Okay, 2 years per term. So about the next, we should have that leadership level that we have built a chain. Only then we complete the institutionalization process of the association. Our relationship with every government should be cemented such that RATA should be consulted for every policy decision that affects our trade. So these are the 3 important factors which come in while you're trying to institutionalize the entire association. So it doesn't depend on a handful of people. It doesn't go through a revival process ever in this history. This is something that we should be able to proudly hand over to the next generation. That listen, we built a company, but we also built a trade platform which you can be part of, which is already ready. Like how our predecessors built a foundation and give it to us, we need to build this Taj Mahal and give it to them, which they can take pride and also benefit when they take over the businesses. So in the plan 2022, I've got about 6 points that I'll quickly run you through. I will share a detailed document with everybody, but just to give a quick highlight, what are the trade and internal communications? Now we are 100 people. How do we communicate with each other? What is the discipline around it? What are the membership plan, government reach out, business reach out? How is the events programs? What is expected from the office bearers and the compliances, the back office supports, and the next thing that we need to do after we get out of this AGM starting tomorrow. So we set up a communication standard operating procedure. Most of you are already aware. There is a WhatsApp has been identified as the biggest forum for connecting with our trade. This is what our biggest discovery, and we have utilized it completely, but over the last 6 months. So there is a standard operating procedure for the WhatsApp communication that has been defined. How many groups in each region, who's supposed to be in that group, who has admin rights, what can be posted, what cannot be posted. Predefined, it has been done, and to a very great extent, it has already been implemented. Emails within the RRC and RNC, there is a standard operating procedure, how do you use the emails. So it's very simple. We have say if you are in Chennai, you have an email ID called as chennai@rataindia.com. So if you are a member of the Chennai committee, and if you send an email to chennai@rataindia.com, all the committee members will receive that email. So you don't have to remember who the committee member, I don't have the email, nothing. So this is already active, you can start doing it. Having said that, if you're not from that committee, that email will not go, right? So that email is used as a committee. So similarly at the national committee, if you send an email called as national@rataindia.com, that email will go to all the national committee members. As long as you're a member of that committee, you can send it to that ID. Outsiders cannot send any IDs to that. So we've disciplined that all the emails which are sent is recorded, is there, easy to it's already recorded at the back end. So any email that you send comes as an official record, which is always saved for later references. Virtual meetings, we have this Google Meet facilities. You can do 2 meetings simultaneously. Vishaka can set up 1 meeting for you, and Savita can set up 1 meeting for you. So you can actually set up as many meetings as you want and make sure the virtual meetings continue, because that is the new normal. And before the pandemic also, if you read our constitution actually permits virtual meetings, all right? So we have already incorporated that into our constitution, saying that virtual meetings are a way for meetings. And we did that primarily to bring down the cost, because if you want to have a national meeting, we didn't want to fly down everybody just for 1 meeting. Like how Akash said, that, there was one of those expenses with the national meetings. So we said, how do we cut down on those expenses and stay efficient? So virtual meetings is part of the whole thing. There's a brand guidelines book, which has been shared with everybody. It is available with the RATA office. So as committee members, whenever we communicate, we have a standard. You would have seen when Akash presented and I presented and I'm presenting, Our PPT also is pretty much similar with the Rata color. So there is a clear-cut brand guidelines. You will see in the mailers that is going for all the events, it's pretty much standardized. So we stick to that discipline. Now, this is what our action plan is. This is a summary sheet. At the end of it, I will actually share it with you. There are 4 important factors as committee members we need to stay focused on. We need to move our membership to about 2,200 members, 2,200 companies across India. Based on the current membership and based on the potential, we have put some numbers here. We think this is fairly achievable. We are in the next committee meeting in the national, we can always discuss this. People who want to increase the numbers will immediately get accepted. The numbers will change quickly. People who want to reduce the numbers, we will debate, but we will definitely come to a summary figure which we can do this. So 2,200 members is what we are looking at by the end of 2 years. It's not a tall figure. It is, if you break the numbers by 24 months or by the number of weeks, you will find it's not a task. It's a task which might look, easily achievable. So I think that's what we want to look at. Events. What we are saying is events, we look at about 1 event every month from every committee. So there's no much pressure on it. It could be an online event, it could be an offline event, but just 1 event per month is what you need to look at, which brings you at about 24 events per month. The government reach out. Now, this government reach out is where you have to reach out to your state government bodies or the GST council. So minimum 2 reach outs is what we want. Now, when I say reach out, is just not connection. We want strong relationships, which we have built. And you can take Bombay's experience. We have some great relationship with Indian Merchant Chambers. We have great relationships with Federation of Association of Maharashtra. We have great relationship with MRTP. We have great relationship with the state government. We have met the finance minister, and we also have great relationships with the GST council, GST department. So I think each of the states will actually have to work towards it over the next 2 years, and you will stay focused on the region to make sure these connects are developed. For the government reach. Business reach out. Now here I want to take some time out to say what is business reach out. The familiar word which we are all convenient with is advocacy. I have purposely not used that word advocacy because I want to bring in a term which most of us tend to understand. But when we look at an advocacy, please remember ISHRAE and ASHRAE, all right, are co-partners in our journey. Right? Most of us are involved at both the places. And it is always going to be that we are going to work hand in hand. Our last few years' journey has also been very similar. They have a very clear purpose. We have a very clear purpose. We work together for the larger purpose, which is the common goal of the industry. So what is the business reach out that I'm talking about? There are many trade associations which are related to other industries. You have CII, you have FICCI, you have Ashokem. At the larger level, at the regional level, like in Gujarat, you have the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce, the Hyderabad Chamber of Commerce, Chennai has a Chamber of Commerce. We need to actually have an MOU with them. Rata should become a member of those associations. Some of us from our committee should become office bearers in those associations, and we should have a relationship with all these associations. In the next 2 years, we should have at least, each region should have at least 2 such bodies where we are very closely associated. This is just not a simple membership and a tick mark. It's relationship. We want people from our committees to become their office bearers, like how Pritesh did it for us. He is our Rata committee member, and he became a secretary in the Federation of Association of Maharashtra, and it became a point of influence for us. So we have to influence trade. And I'm saying why? Because when we had this meeting with Nitin Gadkari ji, it was thought-provoking. I'll tell you why. Because when we told him, sir, हमारे industry का तो status ही नहीं है, so he turned around and he asked a very simple question. ये हमारा government में कौन सा department है जो industry status देता है? किसको industry status मिला हुआ है? And that is when we started. We all got thinking, अरे यार ऐसा कोई department ही नहीं है. तो ये industry status क्या है? It's a perception. It is your span of influence that you have. And that span of influence will come when we are actually talking and engaging with a lot of other trade bodies, which is very, very important. That is how it becomes very important for us to engage with all the other regional trade bodies. Because for entrepreneurs, while it is specific to HVACR, most of the common problems are problems with all the other industries. So I guess this is one area where at least two such business reach outs need to be done by each of the regions. Now, events and programs. I want to talk a little bit about here too. This is just what I'm saying is just throwing it out for debate, throwing it out for discussion. Put my perspective on certain things. We can always change and we can always discuss this later. Over the last 6 months, we had over 40 online webinars post-COVID in the last 6 months. Pretty much what we did more than last 3 years. Our future seems to be hybrid online and offline events. It won't be only online, it won't be only offline. This is very clear, it's going to be hybrid. We need to ask ourselves why we do the events and what's the purpose we are achieving around this. We're an association. We're not an events company. So why the hell are we doing these events? And there's been a lot of discussion around this. So offline event, what are the advantages? It's a great networking opportunities. Super. I don't think anything can beat the networking opportunities an offline event can have. But there are challenges in costs and sponsorship. There are challenges in getting participants. And there is added stress to the committee members in organizing the same. And this, I'm saying it from the last 3 years experience. When we used to do events, the committee members used to feel, my God, मैं कहाँ पे आके बैठ गया यार? Sponsorship लेके आना पड़ता है. फिर वो sponsorship आने के बाद event plan करने के बाद उसको participants भी लेके आना पड़ता है. It's like a nightmare. And some of us are already doing it and we can understand the challenge around it. I'll also tell you there are some committee members where the events have not gone up to the expectation. The sponsors have actually pressurized them. मैंने तो इतना खर्चा करे, at least तू तो business दो मुझे या फिर recommend. So it becomes very taxing on the committee members themselves as to doing this. Online events, it's extremely low cost of organizing. We can do it at such a short notice at a very, very low cost. Our fixed expenses for doing online events, the most expensive thing that we spend is on that emailer. That is the cost that we spend. We don't cross about more than 6,000-7,000 rupees a month for all the kind of events that we put, and we put about 40 events together. And we reach out to a much larger audience, and we can see it at a later date. So typically entrepreneurs cannot attend it live, but it's always there, and they can go back and see it again. They can share it with their staff, like Tally. You know, the entrepreneurs attended it, but he's also sharing that video to most of his staff, and he can put that video to good use. The other most important thing is the credibility of the industry that we build. You know, when we were actually moving around and meeting the entire trade, you know, sales and service dealers had a well thing. There was a joke, hum AC wale. And there was quite a few people who came and said, yaar, ye AC wale ka jo taboo na nikhalna chahiye. How will that taboo change when you change a perception? It's incredible. In the last 6 months, people who have seen our webinars online, because anybody can see it, and most of our office bearers have shared it on their social media posts, have called up and have given a feedback as to, dude, you have such a fantastic industry. You guys are so organized. You have such good people in your industry. It changes the perception of the industry. So online has its benefits and offline has its benefits. So probably the way forward for us is a hybrid way. So here is what I am proposing. We should keep our events free online. It builds credibility and has made our association aspirational and has driven membership in the last 6 months. We also do it from a perspective that we are not an events company. Guys, you must remember, what are the events that we are doing? It is not like a technical society which is creating value proposition, and a person who is going out there and seeing that event has no other place to go. If he wants that knowledge, he has to go to that event and gain that knowledge. There is nowhere else. Look at the kind of events that we create. We are getting external speakers, which are generic. And what is the value proposition that we are doing? We are converting it into an industry specific, and we are presenting it. Seriously, I mean, is that why people become members of RATA? We need to think about it. I don't think that's what the reason is. People may join us. People may join us as RATA members because of the changed perception. But what people will continue to remain as members is when they can go to offline events and do networking, which strictly from now onwards should be only for members. The second most important thing, we are building a digital platform. And in the digital platform, ours is just a digital platform, is just not a marketplace. Over the years, the new team will probably share more details about how that platform is being built. It is not about doing business. One of the biggest challenges over the last 6 months, we've always heard from all our members is payments outstanding or dealing with, and it's very known, in every city where we travel, we say, मेरे साथ business कर सकता है, मेरे साथ cheating करता है, फिर वो दूसरे आदमी के पास जाके काम करता है. Can we use a digitized way of actually solving this problem, where we say that if members are connected to us, if there are members can have access to a digital platform and see the history of who he should deal with, who he should not deal with? Can we do a legalized way? Yes, it's possible. We've taken enough advice to do it. We have the technical know-how. Probably over the next 1 year, we should actually build that platform. And that is the reason why people will stay and be and renew their membership. And that's one of the things that we need to debate and see where is the value proposition that we are giving members. One is to attract new talent, attract new members, which is reaching out and building the perception using value benefits on the online platform. Offline events, primarily to actually build networking, and the digital platform to hold our events. We will discuss this much more in detail, break it into smaller parts, but I wanted to throw this idea out so it becomes a point of debate and point of discussion between all the members of RATA. Coming to the office bearers and mandatory compliances, the president is responsible for the RRC, but is expected to contribute 80% of its time towards the national commitments. The vice president is responsible for the day-to-day activities of the regional committees. And the secretary is responsible for the ROC compliances like monthly meetings, committee members' attendance, agenda, and minutes. So, for example, our constitution clearly says that if a member is constantly missing the meetings, he can escalate it to the RNC, and the secretary is supposed to take an action and decide whether the member should continue or he should be out of the committee. What is important is we need to have members who can contribute, who are active in the whole thing. Back office support, as I told you, we have Savita and Vishaka, who has very clearly well-defined roles of the RRC and activities. A detailed note has been made based on the regions or the cities they will handle and the activities they will handle. Post the AGM, I will circulate this among all the committees so you know how to navigate the RATA back office seamlessly. You don't have to depend on talking to me or anybody else and become a bottleneck. It is getting institutionalized where the system should take over. Having said that, if there is any issue, there is a scope of improvement, we are always available to do that. So what do we need to do now? Each of you need to call for a regional committee within the first week of every month. Every month you hold it. Within the first 10 days, you need to have a regional committee meeting. What we are doing is the national committee meeting is being held on the every first Monday of every month. Now that first Monday, minimum 5 days. So if the first is a Monday, then we will hold it on the second Monday. Before the national committee happens, each of them have finished their regional committees and made their plan for the month. The secretary in the first month has to take the oath-taking ceremony. Deepak has already explained that you will do the oath-taking ceremony for your entire committee. The RRC should reveal the 2-year plan with the committee, which is the offshoot of our national plan. I showed you the national plan of how many members that is required, how many events that is required, how much is the business reach out, and how much is the government reach out. You need to break it down to your region and see who is going to handle that. You got to appoint responsible members who will coordinate with the national committee. The next slide will show you who you need in your committee and who in the national committee he should be talking to get the task done. Make sure this plan is shared with the RNC, which we shall review progressively every 6 months. So every 6 months, the 6th half-yearly meeting, we will review what is that we have achieved and what is and how far are we from our goals. And we will take corrective measures. So we will do it 4 times in the next 2 years, and we need to stay focused on the whole thing. So at the National Committee, this is how we have broken our responsibilities. I'm responsible for the plan that I have drawn up, and I'm going to stay focused on it. And I've broken it down to individual levels, and over the next 1 month, even at the regional level, we break it up. Mihir is going to take over the entire back office, which Jaspreet was handling earlier. Mihir is completely going to be responsible for the back office, the efficient running of the Rata office. Mr. Subbu is going to be in charge of compliances. So get ready to get phone calls from Subbu when your minutes have not come in, when your meetings have not been done, and when the agenda is not set up. So you have to set the agenda, you have to make the minutes, and you have to hold the meetings every month. And so Subbu is going to actually keep on top of that. Urvesha, who is taking over as the joint secretary, will be the website development. So this is one of the things that we'll work together into actually converting our entire, a lot of work has already happened, but a little more work to do to digitize the entire platform and to create that value proposition for our members. So that's one of the things. Akash is the treasurer. We've requested him for this 1 more year to be the treasurer, but we've already have the next person in line. Paurush is from Surat, is going to take on as the assistant treasurer. So as far as membership is concerned, which is the 2,200 figure, Paras is there's no better person than to run it and drive it like Paras by. And each of your committee members should have one person who is responsible for the membership in your region. And he would actually be coordinating directly with Parasbhai. He will step in your meetings, in all your regional meetings, to get an accountability of what's happening. Pankaj, he's already got active. He's already set up a plan, and he's in charge for programs. So in each of your committees, you will have one person who will be in charge of your regional programs. We have seen one great important thing, and I've been talking about it in various meetings, that when you do a program, don't think national. Think for your territory, what your members require, in what language you can drive it, and what language you can share knowledge. So that's the way you should go. You have seen, I mean, the only person who have actually successfully implemented it is Ahmedabad team, Uvesh Bhai, who's actually done. And you have seen what happened when Pune did it in Hindi. It's been a viral video. They've actually reached out to so many people within the trade, and it is accepted. So going regional is the way forward. Talk in simple language. If Chennai has to do it, that you can't do it in Hindi and expect it to the Chennai members to attend. It's not going to happen. If you're going to talk in English, don't expect people from the north and the west to join in, or do it in Tamil. The Chennai team should be focused only in Tamil, if that is what works. If Hyderabad is focused only on Hindi, so be it. Do it in the regional languages. It's not expensive. We don't need sponsors. We don't need people to spend money on it. And because we don't have such a big sponsorship influence on our business, we are more neutral in nature. We can take the right decisions. We are not dependent. And that's the power of the online. And look at it. You are taking events which you wouldn't have taken otherwise in an offline segment. You know, in an offline segment, would you have taken an event on stress management? You wouldn't have taken a manage. You wouldn't have taken, you know, there's so many programs that we have done. We have done it only because it is online, because it is inexpensive. So even if you have to address a niche segment of only 20 people, 30 people, so be it. Address every segment of the trade. It's inexpensive. And that's what is expected out of the programs. In terms of the business reach out, Shrikant from Hyderabad, he is going to stay focused on every society, on every committee, on how we've reached out with other trade bodies. Shailesh and Nilesh is going to stay focused on the government connects. This is a huge task, and I guess we'll all be involved in it, but you will stay focused on all these things. We will discuss independently as to which regions each of you all will look. One will look into the northern part, one will look into the southern and western part, to stay focused and build relationships around it. Vishal is looking after the East India development. You've only launched Calcutta. There is a huge East which is untapped, difficult terrain to reach out to, and there's no better person to get us that reach and bring in the maximum number of trade members from East. So Vishal will take over that. Amit has joined us from Delhi. Amit is, and North is a very new territory for us. We only have Delhi and Rajasthan, but we also have so many, and Chandigarh, and we have so many other states and so many other interior states, Class B towns where we can reach out. So Amit's going to be focused on the North India development. Dilip is joined us from Pune, but he's going to be completely responsible for the West India development. So from interiors of Maharashtra and the other states across Western India, you will end up taking over that. From the South India perspective, yes, it's Mr. Akbari who is going to stay focused on that and make sure even in Tamil Nadu is one big state where there are multiple large cities. No other state has more than 5 or 6 big cities. So penetrating into Tamil Nadu in a very big way is most important. And Manmohan Singh ji will be in the Central India development. So we have the MP, Chhattisgarh belts, where we would want to make great inroads. In terms of 2 members who have made some phenomenal contributions, we have co-opted them into the national committee. One is Manikandan, who's actually have 30 members in Madurai. He's the one single-handed man who actually got it done for us. They have not formed a committee, so the importance is that for them to build a committee. And Suresh ji, who's helped build Indore, we co-opted him into the national committee, primarily because he's also very active, not only in the Indore, but also helping us build the Vidarbha team. He's put a lot of people together. So that's the plan that I've put in place. We will discuss it in much more detail. A detailed note has been prepared on this. I will email it to all of you all as to in detail, so that it's always there as a reference guide. Whenever you want, you can share it with your own people, with your own committee members. The plan might seem ambitious, but hell with it, yeah. 3 years ago, when we decided to get RATA active, we never thought that we would come here. It seemed like an impossible task. So I don't see the plan in terms of the large numbers will look right. Look, when you look at the totals, break it down over 100 committee members, the growth has to be not lateral, not horizontal. It has to be geometric in the results that we produce. And this is a time to institutionalize RATA. And we need to hand this over as a body that is self-functioning for generations to come. So we have a huge responsibility as committee members in this term to actually get this thing going. And I'm looking forward to each of you, 100 people, actually contributing their heart and soul in making this happen. And I'll be very active to make sure that I lead this from the front and finish the whole journey that we started, or from revival to institutionalize, and make sure that happens within this term. Thank you very much, and I'm looking for everyone's support. Thanks a lot.